Hello everyone. Welcome back to PassionWaterTarot. Okay, so here's a missing person reading. This one starts out feeling like there's just not much information out there about this person. Then, lo and behold, there's a twist in the case. And the twist never seems to unravel. Oops. And yet, this person is still listed on the FBI website as a possible kidnap victim, alright? So let's start talking about her. I really want to find a good place to set that phone these days. Uh-oh. I closed the window I had open. There we go. November the 12th, 1993. That was a hot minute ago, wasn't it? 18 years ago. Jane Mcdonald-Crone got up, went to work. Got off work. Seems that she worked the evening shift. She resided with her husband and 2 children from a previous relationship off of Nichols Sawmill Road in Magnolia, Texas. She was employed by Baker Hughes in Houston, Texas. I don't know what her job title was. I don't know if she worked in the factory or if she worked in the offices, but she got off work. But she never went home. Her family never spoke to her again, seen her again, nothing. She vanished. Now, it's reported. This is the report that I can't find out by who. That she visited 3 clubs on the northwest side of Harris County called, one of them called City Limits Club, one of them called Willie's Nightlife Club, and the other called the Twigs Club. That she arrived alone to the clubs, and she left there alone. She was seen about 1 o'clock in the morning dancing with some guy. Nobody's ever identified the guy. How did they identify her? Do they have her on camera? This is 1993. Most cameras from back then, you'd be lucky if you could tell what kind of clothing they were wearing. But please understand that this young lady is tall. She's not... She's going to stand out in the crowd, okay? She was born December 16th, 1958. She had dark brown hair, green eyes, stood 5'11". Well, hello, Buttercup. You come here and talk about Jane with us? Hop down, baby girl. She was about 140 pounds, so she was a tall drink of water, alright? She was a white female. She attended North Harris County College in Tomball while living, like I said, she was living in Magnolia. And she worked in Houston. Now, these are all very close together. Alright? What else can I tell you about her? The family reported her missing on the 15th of November. Her husband reported her missing. And on November the 19th, 1993, Her blue 82 Ford Mustang was found abandoned on Decision Street near the intersection of Roberts Cemetery Road in Harris County, Texas. A work crew in the area reported seeing the car at this location on November the 13th. Now, mind you, she went to work on the 12th. Alright? And she wasn't reported missing until the 13th. The car wasn't officially located until the 19th, although work crews remember seeing it as early as the 13th. When she was seen dancing with that guy was 1 a.m., but it was already November the 14th, so she had already given up her car by this time because the car was not located that close to these bars. It was located closer to her home, closer towards Magnolia, not the northern half of Harris County. She was last seen wearing dark jeans, a light-colored blouse with long sleeves, and white sneakers. Are you ready for the twist? Hold on. Are you holding on to your seat yet? Twist time. Mexico. Yeah, Mexico. There's a young man down there, not a young man. He's a middle-aged man who has all the time since he's been growing up helped to provide things for homeless people in the streets of Mexico. Outside of, I want to say it's Metamorphosis. I'm terrible at saying those towns. Matamoros, that's it, Matamoros. So, whenever he talked to her, she identified herself as Jane Mcdonald-Crone, this female that he came across. His intention was not to ask the family for no reward for finding her. He wanted to reunite her with her family. He wanted the feel-good moment of helping her out. So the FBI and the Mexican authorities arranged for her to have a DNA test. Now, when did this happen, by the way? Let me see if I can find a date. Because it's been a hot minute. Let's see, is there a date on this article? It looks like it's 2020. I could very well be wrong. Let me see here. There's lots of pictures of her. But she doesn't look that tall. There's one of her standing beside of a truck. She looks more along the lines of maybe 5'6". And the actual Jane McDonald is 5'11". Nowhere on the internet can I find the results of this DNA test as to whether or not she was identified officially as Jane Mcdonald-Crone. But what I can tell you about the situation is that she has a brother that's an FBI agent. She has a brother-in-law that is a detective investigator in New York. And none of them are taking this claim very seriously. They have submitted DNA for family members to be compared, but they had already done that beforehand for CODIS and everything, okay? They still think she was kidnapped. There's just a lot of confusion with where Jane went, because her car was spotted before she was last spotted dancing with somebody in a bar. So if this person had already separated her from her car, and her ID and purse were not in her car when it was discovered. So if they've already separated her from her car and had her leave her car at this non-descriptive intersection, why would she be out drinking with them and dancing with them at a bar without asking for help from others around her? Unless it's somebody she knows, somebody she's comfortable with. If it was even her in the bars. I mean, I would love to know how she was identified. Was she identified by somebody who actually knows her? And they're not saying that. They're keeping that close to the vest. They're keeping these DNA results close to the vest. So let's see what Spirit can tell us, what Spirit is wanting to tell us regarding the disappearance of Jane. Now, before we get started, 2 things I want y'all to do. Number 1, please help this channel grow by going right down there and hitting subscribe, and then hit the all button so you receive notifications when future readings are uploaded and available. 2, remember, under no circumstance will I ever ask or expect monetary reimbursement or monetary gain from family, friends, soul tribe, detectives, anybody for any of these readings. These are regarding missing person and criminal case files. These are a gift from Spirit. I'm not here to make a profit off of somebody's hardship and heartbreak. Spirit asked me to do the readings, to reveal the answers that they want to provide as a gift. Okay? So, regarding the day that Jane disappeared, we have the 6 of Wands. Really? Huh. We have the Ace of Swords in reverse. We have the World in reverse. And the 6 of Cups. Wow. Okay. That says a lot. That one line of cards is saying a lot, alright? So the 6 of Wands. We have somebody wanting to fit in. They want to be a part of the action. They want to be active in their life, so to speak. But there's something not honest about it. Something very, very dishonest about it. Somebody is not showing their true colors or what their true expectations are. And it's going to cause a catastrophe. The outcome is looking very bad. Straight off the bat. And it's somebody you already know. Somebody Jane already knows. Somebody she has dealt with. Somebody she's dealing with. So, could this be a husband? I don't know anything about the husband. I don't know anything about where he's at, where he's been through all of this. Could this be an ex? Sure. Could it be a current lover? Sure. Could it be a friend or a family member? Absolutely. The person who's coming towards Jane wearing a false mask is somebody she's already dealt with, somebody she knows, somebody she trusts. And they're leading her thinking that it's going to be a successful venture. And it's going to go very bad. It's going to turn her world upside down. What else do we have, Spirit? Queen of Wands. Somebody thinks that Jane is sexy, beautiful, fun, amazing. They see Jane as somebody who they like spending time with. Someone they like to get to know. Seven of Wands in reverse. Jane does not have the same feelings for them. This person is highly attracted to Jane. And she's very uncomfortable with that thought. Very uncomfortable with this ideal. Ace of Pentacles in reverse. Yeah, this is not... This went sour real fast. It's as if this person got her alone and said, okay, well, this is what's really going to happen. James was like, oh, no, it's not. No, I'm going home to my husband. I'm going home to my children. I'm going home to my family. And this person's like, the hell you are. You're not going anywhere. You should have thought about that before you started dealing with me. The Hangman. So, there we are. They now have her held captive. They now have tied her up, assaulting her. It's very ugly. It's very mean. It's very aggressive. Ten of Swords in reverse. They feel very betrayed, and they don't want her to betray them anymore. Nine of Wands. They feel that they can convince her that they're the good guy. Yeah, they actually think that she's going to fall for that. I wish she would have been able to fall for it enough to get away from them. Three of Swords in reverse. And the Emperor in reverse. Yeah, they thought that they could convince Jane to love them. That everything would be okay. But she truly wasn't feeling it. And she absolutely saw them not as an emperor, but more like a predator. So, what happened? What else can you tell us? I see that there was a... this person convinced Jane to go with them under false pretenses. And when she didn't go along with what they wanted, that she did not bow to their demands or requests to love them, so to speak, then they started attacking her. Yeah, see, they had this sick fantasy that they were already lovers. That emotionally them two were already entwined. This person emotionally and mentally is way out there. And they were obsessed with Jane. And by grabbing her, by not allowing her to leave, they felt that they were releasing the burdens. What was standing in the way of the two of them being together? What other clarifiers do we have, Spirit, of what happened to Jane? Was she taken to Mexico? No. That's the Four of Swords. This is a person who is following their heart, but they did not take their brain along for the journey. And they took a rest. During this time, they were holding her captive. They were trying to show their power, trying to impress her with their power, that she would... Somehow this person thought that through violence they could convince her to love them. I'm never going to understand why anybody thinks that violence can convince you to love somebody. Yeah, it didn't. It caused Jane to be further away from them emotionally. She's literally in survival mode. How do I get away from this predator? How do I get myself to safety? What do I need to do and say to get away from this person that's holding me captive, that has me tied down, tied up? This person that is assaulting me. Was this person who harmed Jane? Okay, that was a lot of cards going all over the place. Hold on. That didn't work out for me. Oh well. Alright. Well, I was going to ask before the collision was this person who harmed Jane her husband, a boyfriend, or another family member? And the answer, somebody who she did value. The Four of Pentacles. Somebody she thought highly of. Somebody she liked. Somebody she felt trustworthy with. Somebody she thought she was safe with. They weren't her best friend, but they weren't her number one enemy either. She didn't realize that they were lying to her. I mean, seriously, wearing a false mask, lying, Page of Swords in reverse, and that they weren't thinking clearly, that they were making judgments based on their fantasies and delusional world, and that they wanted to change things. Hello, young lady. That's the second time you come to join us. Let's go ahead and hop down. Thank you. They want to bring about a massive change. They want Jane to be with them and only them. And when she won't, they have to get past the sadness in the morning and proceed forward. Proceeding forward. The Spirit, I want to know more about that. What does that mean? They got past the sadness. They got past the mourning. The mourning of harming her. And how did they proceed forward from that point on? Yeah, the person took her life. Whether it was intentional or not, she was tied up. How did Jane die? How was Jane's life taken from her? How did this person harm Jane? The Fool. By rushing in, by leapfrogging to a conclusion, they overreacted. They couldn't handle their emotions. They just went off the cliff. Seven of Cups. Smoke and mirrors. Lies. So this person has been interviewed to some extent. Maybe not by an investigator, but by a family member. And they've lied about it. About their whereabouts at the time. About their interactions. You know, the phones don't give us all the information from back then in 93 as they do now. There was most likely texts, emails, conversations between these two planning this rendezvous of sorts that this person tricked her into. Where is the remains of Jane located, Spirit? Can you reveal to us where the remains of Jane is located? We have Justice, the King of Cups in reverse, the Queen of Pentacles in reverse, the Six of Swords in the upright, and the Two of Wands in reverse. So where is she? She's concealed in a container, whether it's a box, a barrel, a container that could be locked, such as a toolbox or a cabinet, a suitcase. The key is still with this person. They still go to visit the area where they put the box, the barrel, the suitcase. It's near water. It's not in the water. It's on the shore. Near a bridge. Near a path. A bridge with a path. That's the two ones. That's the bridge and the path going through it. They check on this container every now and then to make sure nobody else has discovered it. Is there any clarifiers for Justice? King of Cups in reverse, Queen of Pentacles in reverse, Six of Swords, and the Two of Wands in reverse. The Empress, Temperance, the Knight of Cups, and the Four of Wands in reverse. Very independent female who was really growing in her energy and expanding her knowledge. And she made the mistake of offering love, offering a cup of love to a person that did not know what love was. The Four of Wands in reverse. Somebody who did not have her best interest at heart. Someone that was disturbed emotionally. Now, what's the most likely outcome of this reading? The Tower in reverse. Build it from the ground up. I say this all the time about these cold cases. Some detective needs to take it serious. Pull out every file you got. Start from scratch. Look at all the interviews. Look who wasn't interviewed. Who was the friends back then? Where are they all at now? You need a new notebook? Call me. Send me an email, PassionWaterTarot@gmail.com. I'll mail you a new notebook for the notes. Somebody, the family has spoke to them, but the detectives have not. '93, I just really feel like, I feel this in my energy, that there was a fingerprint inside that car that's not been identified yet. And it's going to match this person who's been overlooked this whole time. They were very obsessed with Jane. She's not in Mexico. That's not her down there. I do want to ask, Spirit, was that Jane who was dancing in the club at 1 a.m.? 8 of Swords in reverse? No. Nope, nope, nope. Wrong ID. Or wrong date. It was not Jane. If it was Jane, then the dates are messed up in the person's mind. And that's okay, that happens. We get it, okay? We get it, especially if you work in a bar. I mean, days can blend together. I can only imagine. In a dark environment with people constantly coming at you, I'm sure that dates do get messed up at times. So let's see, for all those invested in this reading, let's see what Spirit gives you. An affirmation. May one be happy. Oh, excuse me. May I be happy. May I be peaceful. May I be free from suffering. May they be happy. May they be peaceful. May they be free from suffering. May all be happy. May all be peaceful. May all be free from suffering. And that's for all family, friends, soul tribe, everyone invested in this reading. Now, what's the romance card for this reading? Passion. This person had a lot of passion for Jane, but it was definitely misconstrued because she did not feel the same about them. And that's what set them off on their anger, on their lashing out at her physically, that ended up causing her to lose her life. For the detectives and the family, victory is coming. To find out who this person is, to locate her remains, victory is coming. For a solution in this case, to bring justice to this case. Let's see what the synopsis for this reading is. Not today. Yeah, that's pretty much what Jane said. Not today. Not dealing with hurt, avoiding a conversation, a call, or a person, boundaries, and still angry. She was angry, she was upset, and she was not going to volunteer her boundaries to be crossed by this individual who was not thinking clearly, that was trying to harm her. So, the card of advice for everyone invested in this reading, detectives, investigators, family, friends, and soul tribe. The Queen of the Light. Illumination, enlightenment, and celebration. Illumination. To show the truth. To be guided by spirit to the truth. Enlightenment. To see the truth, to know the truth, to feel the truth. And to celebrate with everyone for finding the answers. To bring in Jane home. Alright, everyone. Thank you for being here for this reading. I'll see you all soon with your next reading. Don't forget to subscribe. And don't forget, under no circumstance will I ever expect or request any monetary gain from any of these missing person cases or from criminal cases, alright? Never, never, never. Now, do I do readings for profit? Sure. If it has to do with your love, your education, your personal matters, not over somebody's hardship, not over somebody's disaster that took place the longest day of somebody's life. That seems to never end when they're still waiting for the answer. Let's make sure I told y'all where this was happening to Jane Mcdonald-Crone. She lived outside of Houston in a town called Magnolia, Texas. She worked in Houston, Texas, and she went to college in Tomball, which is right there by Texas Renaissance Festival. And this took place in November 1993. So it took place during the week, during the time that Renaissance Festival was going on. So, but this was somebody Jane knew and trusted. They weren't her best friend, but it wasn't anybody she was scared of either. I wish you all the best, and I wish the family the best with finding the information to resolve this case. I'll see you all soon in the next reading. Namaste.